just going to start by talking about Bruno Sammartino.
Yes.
Sadly, last week, WWE legend Hall of Famer Bruno Sammartino passed away at the age of 82. Jericho actually had a good podcast where he interviewed Bruno, and he played it last week. And it was, Bruno was telling the story of when he grew up. He was in Italy during World War II. His father had came over here, when he was really young. So when the Germans had invaded his town, him and his parents, him and his mother and siblings were actually hiding in the mountains. They didn't make
Wow.
it to America until Bruno was 15 because he was always sick as a child, and the U.S. kept denying his visa because of the result. Once he got here, he got into weights and wrestling. He became known as the strongest man in the world. He set some world records in 1959, and then he caught the eye of Vincent J. McMahon and became a sports entertainer. Pretty much overnight, Bruno became had a huge following, especially among the Italians and people who felt they didn't have anybody to represent them. So he just he won his first world championship in 1917. He held the title for 8 years in his first run, which is by far the longest reign of any of all time.
Unbelievable.
He lost the title when he lost the title in 1971. Grown men in the crowd were actually crying. Then in 1973, he won, becoming the first ever two-time WWE championship, and he held the title for another 3.5 years. Bruno headlined and sold out Madison Square Garden 187 times. The star power and influence by Sammartino is exemplified by the fact he was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame by none other than Arnold Schwarzenegger, and that was the 188th and final time Sammartino headlined and sold out MSG.
Man, just a man's man. He lived a great life, and I don't think you'll ever see anything like that duplicated ever again as far as championship reigns, and um, it's truly unfortunate. And I put a post up that when I heard the news because I actually had a cool. I had only met Bruno a couple times, and he was always just very polite and respectful, and always had kind things to say, and which always blew me away. And I remember somebody shared a story with me from WrestleMania, well, my last WrestleMania with Kalisto, where Bruno was in a skybox up there watching with a group of people, and after the finish of the match, had actually slammed his hands down on the table and was just outraged, supposedly, as the story was told to me, because he couldn't understand why they had gone that direction, which ultimately he didn't know everything going on, and whatnot. But it just, when I heard that, I was like, wow. Not that, and I never had a problem doing any of that, but just, someone that always, to me, that to have the respect of someone like that was just, I didn't know him outside of just meeting him a couple times, but he was always, whenever, I'd come across him backstage at two or three of the shows that he was at, it was, he always had such kind things to say, and just seemed like he's just a man's man, just a wrestler's wrestler, and he will be missed. And but he lived a great life. So I believe, was he 80, was he 84, Mike?
82. 82.
82. So, I mean, that's a lot longer than a lot of other wrestlers. That's for damn
Oh yeah,
sure. So,
definitely.
and for the life he lived, I mean, he was a hardworking man. He spent himself for many, many, many years. So that's a great life. It's just, it's unfortunate, still, but